Good afternoon. It's Wednesday, October 17th, 2012. It's a very windy, typical Kansas day. I'd say it's actually even a little more windy than that. Lots going on. My last vlog was last Sunday. Today was a very busy day in the terms of putting in some hours and time and activities for the practicum. Things are winding down, I should say, on the amount of hours and activities I have left, but still very busy nonetheless. What I had after school today was another instructional cabinet meeting, which I've had a couple already this year, but today's was pretty important and pretty heavy with things to discuss, and also gave me quite a bit of time and things to go over. Okay, one thing that we discussed was state assessment, testing, and scheduling. I'm a third grade teacher at our only elementary school, which is K through 4, and so I am in charge of math and reading state assessments, but in order to prepare for that, we do our interim test, which most of you, I'm sure, are very familiar with. We do that here right now. The window's open. I am going to do my first one on Friday, and then my second one next week on like Tuesday. I will start with reading. But one thing that we'll see that will be different this year are some pilot questions on the math interim test that go in accordance with the Common Core standards. So what I'm pretty sure that I will be seeing is several different fraction type questions, which will be fairly new for the kids in my class because we teach Saxon math right now, which doesn't hit a lot on that, some, but not to the extent of what the Common Core standards are wanting us to get to. So that'll be a new one for them, I'm sure. Something else that we talked about is the social studies curriculum review meeting. We have to do that this year. I'm a social studies teacher. I do all of the third grade social studies. There's 3 sections of third grade, so I have 3 throughout the day. So my meeting for that is on October 29th, which I'll be using as another activity. What we did talk about there is that Common Core standards are also being written for social studies, so that makes our meeting kind of up in the air right now because with those Common Core standards being written, it's in the draft form right now. So our review is either going to have to be taken from the draft, or we need to wait a year and then do that. But the middle school principal, who's kind of in charge of this, he doesn't really want to wait because that puts us a year behind, and he also said that the draft is probably going to be pretty close to the final product, and it will probably be also approved. So we will most likely go ahead with that. He does have a meeting on Friday, so that will be probably our final decision point there. I'm kind of anxious to do that. I've never done that before, so it'll be new for me. I don't think we'll get it all done in an afternoon, but it will at least get a start on it anyways. Something else that my administrator, who's my principal and district superintendent, he and I went over something called KEEP today, which I'm sure any educators out there have heard of, maybe at the beginning of this year. I heard it for the first time at the beginning of the year staff meeting, but definitely got a clearer picture of it today. I knew it was a form of evaluation, and that's about what I knew to the extent of it, and that it was probably more in depth than what we do now, but that's about all I knew. But today I received an 87-page document on it, so just think of that, talking about, you know, the evaluation process that a teacher is going to have to go through, but really more from the administrator's point of view. It's a lot of documentation. Just for instance, we're going to have to keep track of several different things. And by the way, KEEP is a Kansas Educator Evaluation Protocol, or a locally developed educator evaluation system. It's rigorous, it's transparent, and it's equitable for all educators. Here is an example of the record of a teacher evaluation activities. Now, let me move that over. Okay. So those are the different things that an administrator is going to have to keep on each teacher that they have to evaluate. Like an orientation, there are pre-observation conferences, the observation itself, and post-observation conference, and there are 4 of those. So an administrator is going to have to keep paperwork and documentation on all of those. Okay? And right now we do an evaluation system where they come in and do a formal evaluation. Like, this is my 4th year in this district, so I get evaluated once a year. And I fill out this yellow sheet and evaluate myself 1 to 5. And then I sit with my administrator in a meeting and go over that with him and see if we meet in the middle somewhere anyway, I guess. But now it's much more in depth. And that took quite a bit of time to go through some of that and kind of have him explain that to me. It's basically to get all the districts up to snuff in their evaluation system, which he said we probably don't do as good a job as we should to meet these requirements, but this is coming down the pike and will be in effect by March. And it's free because it's given through the state, and whatever evaluation system you do, it has to be approved by the state. There are other ones out there, but as his words were, read between the lines, this is free and it's already written by the state, so guess what we'll use? We'll use that. So that's definitely something to get used to. Like I said, teachers probably won't affect them as heavily as it will the administrators on their paperwork. Like, for instance, he said he has 10 to evaluate this year in the elementary building, and then he has to also evaluate the high school principal and middle school principal as well. That just kind of gave me a clearer picture about that. So that's what's going on. Tomorrow I have another activity. I'm going to go supervise the 5th and 6th grade music concert at a nice facility uptown. Kind of watch over whichever grade is not performing at that time. He said it might be between an hour and 2 hours, so we'll see. And that will be one of my secondary activities. I think it's my last one, actually, for secondary. So things are coming right along. I think I have about 3 activities left, and it'll be done. And I need to get some more of these out there. Have a good evening. Thank you.